Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome to the closet of truth. All right. Let's get it going, ladies and gentlemen. All right, you know what we do over here in the closet of truth, right? Yeah.
Guess who's living rent free? Yeah, it's me, Zeus. I'm feeling good, everything's alright. I got my head high, and I'm shining all bright like a light. Walking down the street, people looking at me, and I don't really care what they say, cause I'm living rent free.
Right.
Yeah, I said I'm living rent free.
Told you I had to do it.
I said I'm living rent free. Yeah, and I don't care what they say, cause I'm living rent free.
Right.
La la la.
Let me make sure we get this all set up, ladies and gentlemen.
La la la, living life how I wanna. La la la.
All right, yeah. Welcome to the closet of truth, ladies and gentlemen.
Making moves and achieving the impossible.
You know, when you're winning like this, ladies and gentlemen, you can do closet of truth episodes. Yeah, look at that.
Don't let nobody hold you back. Keep pushing forward.
Right. All right, good. Yeah. Oh, you think I'm Steve Urkel? You sound like clickbait. Right. They're mad at Zeus. Now, this is a bit of a little bit of a warning. Right. All right. Listen, in the best interest of time, we're gonna get straight to it. All right. You know, we're in an interesting space right now, ladies and gentlemen, because we are watching the Trump crime family. This is the Trump crime family right here. We're watching it come down good morning, Miss Thompson. We're watching the Trump crime family come crumbling down, and we're watching his supporters losing their crap out here on TikTok, all right? I mean, these folks are out here pretending like they're victims, all because Donald Trump is being held accountable and being taken to task because he committed a bunch of fraud, all right? In the state of New York, Letitia James has this guy on the ropes, all right? And so I want to make sure I give you Trump supporters a bit of a heads up. Playtime is truly over. You know, I might laugh and I might joke around out here on social media just to, bring the content that I bring, but playtime is truly over. While Donald Trump is out here spreading lies that it's looking real good for him in the courtroom. Good afternoon. He's spreading lies saying that it's looking real good for him in the courtroom, right? And the truth of the matter is it's not. All right. I've been inspired to do this live because Mary Trump, many of you know that's Trump's niece. She made a statement and she said something very, very powerful about what his daughter, this is Ivanka right there, right? Who we all know Donald Trump has a nasty obsession with, right? She says that Ivanka Trump, she's going to throw her father under the bus tomorrow in the fraud trial. How many of you out there think Ivanka's going to throw Donald Trump under the bus tomorrow? All right, how many of you by show of hands? And then the second question is, do you think she should? All right. Do you think she's going to? And then do you think she should? You do? Yvonne, you think so? Nancy, you think so? Right? Let me ask you all a serious question, because I go in and out of these lives and I have real conversations with these Trump supporters, and I mean I really get down and dirty with MAGA to get them to come clean. Do you think that Donald Trump actually committed these crimes? Does anyone out there think that these crimes were really committed? And this is in particular with New York, the fraud. Do you really think Donald Trump was falsifying documents and overinflating his value of his properties and then, taking tax breaks? You hope you... Don't wish harm. Don't wish harm on Ivanka. Come on, this is his daughter. To the Trump supporters, this is the ultimate question I have. Will you turn on Ivanka if she throws Donald Trump under the bus? MAGA, MAGA, I know there's some Trump supporters. Jessica, thank you. I know there's some Trump supporters here. Will you turn on Donald Trump's daughter, Ivanka, if she ends up telling the truth in that courtroom? I'm asking this because I oh yes, wow, MAGA. You want this man so bad that you're willing to destroy his daughter? Wow. But and the reason I ask that is because I am expecting, hands down. Why is it one-sided? It's really going to happen. His niece said she's going to go in there and throw him under the bus tomorrow. All right. And she says when she testified in the fraud trial, okay. And Mary Trump, she's been spot on about Donald Trump, and we all saw what happened. She went on to say Ivanka Trump was once a party in the lawsuit, but a New York appeals court in June, they dismissed her from the case, and her lawyers argued that the Attorney General's office, they didn't have jurisdiction to force her to testify, all right? But Judge Arthur Engoron ruled that she would have to, even though they appealed the ruling. And this is what Mary went on to say. She says, they're going to have to walk a very thin line between obfuscating in a way that's not perjury and appeasing their father's ego so that he doesn't throw them under the bus when he testifies. Now, ladies and gentlemen, she turned some good stuff on Trump. Yeah, because he lied about the value of his properties in order to make a lot of money. And he keeps saying that this is a victimless crime. But it's not a victimless crime. Banks and investors were harmed by these lies. And this is the lesson to Donald Trump and MAGA. Lies, like choices, have invoices. All right? Now, Gary, you might think that I'm losing, but I'm not. All right? And so, along those lines, this is what the latest is, this is what they're saying about Ivanka's testimony tomorrow.
Expected in the courtroom and then after the courtroom, kind of swaggering out with the bombastic take on things. What is the expectation for Ivanka Trump? Tried not to have to testify, appealed, isn't technically involved in the case.
Right.
Do we know what she's been doing to prepare?
I want to just disagree on one note. I didn't actually expect Trump to take ownership of those statements the way that he did.
Right.
I didn't expect him to attach himself and not distance himself the way his sons did. So that was surprising to me. In terms of Ivanka Trump, she's going to try to get in and out with as little damage as possible. I know that there has been some prep going on. She has been very reluctant to do this. The fact that she was dropped from the case but also got her own lawyer separate from Trump lawyers has been a bone of contention in Trump's circle. I expect that she is going to try to do as little as possible to inflame her father, but also to distance herself from any questions that the AG would have.
To take a step back on what you just said about the former president, why do you think he took ownership?
I think sometimes he says things under oath that he doesn't either mean to say or that he has been coached not to say. Now, I think that the performance that we saw in terms of him attacking Letitia James, attacking the judge, describing it all in very...
And see, when they talk about Donald Trump attacking the Attorney General, right? Letitia James, attacking the judge, attacking the court staff. For those of you who aren't familiar with what that tactic is all about, you got to do that when you're guilty. When you don't have the law on your side, when you don't have the facts on your side, you got to behave just like Donald Trump behaves. Like a child. Like a kid. He's a criminal. And this is why Donald Trump, before he goes to hell, he's going to go take a pit stop in jail. And then before that, he's going to go broke. I had a Trump supporter. I was in a live earlier, and they said something along the lines of, I said, listen, you can't send Donald Trump enough money to stop the wheels of justice. And one of the Trump supporters says, I will send Donald Trump everything I have in order to keep him out of prison. And I don't care how much it costs me or my family. How many? Yvonne, right, Yvonne? Eat a bag. Now, this is when this is why I have to go live in the middle of the day and talk to you folks about that MAGA demon. That MAGA demon has done a number on you. You ever seen Ali in his prime when he starts doing the numbers and he gets you on the ropes? This is worse than I've ever seen. You will give your entire life savings up to save this guy when his own daughter won't. MAGA. This is why you're in a lot of trouble. Snuggles, you're not winning. Many of you, you know, by the way, there's a MAGA demon out there in the audience. His name is Snuggles. He's going around on TikTok. Yeah, no, this is true. He goes around on TikTok and he tries to convince his followers. You know, he has about 10 different accounts because all of them get suspended. He tries to convince his followers that somehow Donald Trump... You won't believe this. He tries. He wakes up every day. He lives with his grandmother in the basement, right? You know, you can hear her in the background. Snuggles. He lives in the basement with his grandmother. He wakes up every day on TikTok and tries to convince his 20 followers on TikTok that Donald Trump is going to be president again, right? And he tries every trick in the book to get these folks to believe him. I mean, every trick. He wakes up every day. And you know what his number one trick is? He likes to go, well, Zeus, what about President Biden? This is what he likes to do. Why hasn't President Biden done anything about the border? And I had to go, Snuggles, that's because President Biden won the 2020 election and the border requires congressional input. You know your party is not helping out with the border. No, Zeus. We have record fentanyl coming in. How do you know that, Snuggles? Well, look at the reports. Look at all the fentanyls they seized. I said, Snuggles, that means they're catching the fentanyl at the border. Record amounts being caught. That means Biden is actually doing a good job. It is sad. But this is what they got to run on. There's votes going on today, ladies and gentlemen. This is another reason that I went live today, because I want to talk more about Ivanka. There's votes going on today, and I want all of you to get out there and vote, all right? And make sure you vote blue. Do not vote for the MAGA party at all, because what you're going to be doing is voting against your own best interest. I saw my friend in here, Gary. Gary, if you are still receiving Social Security, or if you're getting Medicare and you like those benefits, vote blue. Because if you don't, Gary, and you mark my word, and listen, I don't like to pick on those who are really struggling in life, but I'll say this, Gary. If I find out that you voted blue, Gary, voted red, you voted for MAGA, don't you dare come into a Zeus Live and ask any of my friends, my fellow Democrats, to assist you ever again when you are down and out. You know, like you were last time when your account got locked up and you needed a little extra money and you just needed a little $5 or $10 to get by for a day, and you came into Zeus's Live and you asked the Democrats to help you out, Gary, and we came together and we helped you out, Gary. There won't be no more of that if I find it out. If I find out you voted red against your own best interest. And that goes to any of you Trump supporters, all right? By the way, I want to make sure you Trump supporters know this. And President Biden told me to send you a message. He wanted me to make sure I told each and every single one of you Trump supporters these words.
MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution.
No.
They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. They refuse to accept the results of a free election, and they see their MAGA failure to stop a peaceful transfer of power after the 2020 election as preparation for the 2022 and 2024 elections.
Right.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. MAGA forces are determined to take this country backwards.
Thank you, President Biden. I wholeheartedly agree. Donald Trump and the MAGA forces, which we all know are just the forces of losers. If you ever wanted to be a loser in life, be MAGA. All right, MAGA. If you, I have to crack myself up because every time I hear this guy, Snuggles, he keeps saying he's winning, and I'm going, but you're MAGA. MAGA is losing. If you ever wanted to be a big loser, if you ever wanted to go to jail, do us all a favor. Wear those red hats that say make attorneys get attorneys. Wear those red hats and you go out here and show the world just how ridiculous and silly you are. You know what's so hilarious? And I'm going to always say this. And then I'll go to the box because I see there's some people in here who want to get in the box and have a conversation with Zeus. All right. And I got to let my moderators know this isn't the morning show. This is the closet of truth. So we're going to lower our defenses. We're going to lower our defenses and we're going to hear from those who decide to come in the box. Some of them, they may very well agree with Zeus. Some of them, they might not agree with Zeus. But I'm doing this because I think it's time to have these tough conversations with MAGA so that people out there that are going out and they're casting their votes, they can hear just how ridiculous these Trump supporters sound. I don't got to make a Trump supporter look or sound ridiculous. All you got to do is listen to them and try to keep up with what they're saying. And trust me, they won't disappoint. They'll run into that brick wall of nonsense. They'll say silly things like we're winning. And you'll just have to go, right, you're winning, but Donald Trump didn't get a second term. Think about that, MAGA. If Donald Trump was such a great president, if he was, which is what you say he was, why the hell didn't he get a second term? That should have been easy. You know, when you're a winner, you get a second term. Obviously. Oh, look at that. They say it was rigged. Wow, Snuggles. Wow. You know what, Snuggles? Let's go straight to the box. Oh, my. All right. Hello. Oh, Yvonne, are you there, Yvonne?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, Zeus.
Hey, how are you? This is our first time talking, I guess, huh?
It is our first time, Zeus.
Well, tell me. All right. Well, listen, what brings you to the closet of truth today? There's a lot going on.
Well, one thing you have to ask me those questions because I'm so excited to answer those.
Okay, wait. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Let me make sure I get the questions out. All right. Don't just stay right there. All right. First question, and I asked this question from everyone that I do business with for the first time, right?
Yes, you do.
All right, first question. In your opinion, was the 2020 election stolen by President Biden?
Absolutely not.
Good answer. Now, Yvonne, you answered that real quickly, and it's almost coming across like somehow you and I coordinated before you came in the box. Did you and I coordinate before you came in the box?
Absolutely not, Zeus.
Okay. So this is happening in real time. So don't try to accuse her of being a liar. All right, Yvonne. Let's go to our next question. In your opinion, who would you say is responsible for the attack on our United States Capitol on January 6, 2021?
Donald Diaper Trump.
You're doing such an excellent job, Yvonne. I am just saying, wow. All right, my last and final question, and this one's going to come at you like a curveball. A lot of
Oh,
people get tripped up when I ask it, but I'm going
oh,
to ask it anyway. All
ask
right,
me.
all
Yes.
right. In your opinion, are President Biden or let's say Hillary Clinton, and you know what, I'm going to throw in an extra one, Barack Hussein Obama, are any of them guilty of any crimes?
Absolutely not. But
Thank
Donald
you.
Trump.
But Donald Trump is. All right. Now, what part of the country do you hail from, Miss Yvonne?
I live in Alabama.
Oh, shout out to Alabama. Are there any election activities going on today out there? I don't know. You
No,
know.
not
Oh,
not
okay.
today.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, and I thank you so much for coming in the box. All right, now what is it that you would like to let the MAGA Republican Party know? Because they're getting it wrong, aren't they?
They getting it. Oh, they are truly getting it wrong.
Mm,
I want them to know, being a old lady and a grandmother from
okay.
Alabama, I want
Congratulations for that.
thank you. I want them to know that they really need to seek help. I mean, they really do, because something is wrong with their brain.
Mm.
I think their brains have turned to mush.
Oh, you
All
think
of these,
so?
absolutely, all of these years, Donald Trump been banging them on the head and banging them on the head and banging them in the checkbook. Their brains has turned to mush.
Mm. Mm. I, you
And
know, I want to push back, but
okay, push,
I
push.
kind of, I'm looking for something to challenge you, and something that says, somehow MAGA knows, maybe they're an expert at something, but I can't really think of anything MAGA knows or is an expert at, right? So maybe you're right.
Hey, of course I'm right. It's
Yeah.
sad, but also, Zeus, I'm gonna make this point, and then I really don't believe that Trump is going to go to prison.
Oh, you don't?
And I'm going to tell you why.
Okay, this is new. Why
Okay,
don't you?
Donald Trump is a cult leader, right?
Correct.
Okay, out of the cult leaders that you know in our history, do you think they ended up in prison?
Uh,
Or do you think they all did other things instead of going to
mm,
prison?
mm,
But another thing, they didn't do the other things by themselves. They had their cult people with them.
mm,
Or he's going to see Putin.
mm,
Mm.
uh.
He is not strong enough. He's not man enough to go to prison, because he knows Big Bubba is waiting for him.
Okay, that's a lot right there, Miss Yvonne. But let's slow that down. So other things. So we firmly agree that Donald Trump is guilty, right?
Right.
There's no disputing that. And so the question is, how will he proceed in life once those convictions, come down on him? And you're saying you can't see him in a prison cell with Bubba.
Right. Right. I would like for him to be there, but hey.
Okay, okay. Well, and so you think that it's either Vladimir Putin, right?
Uh-huh.
Which we all know he wants to do because he was trying to build a Trump Tower there. And if you go according to that Steele dossier, he did some nasty things in Russia. And so I know Donald Trump has no problem going to Russia if he can.
Right.
Or other things.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is. Does anybody disagree out there with what we're saying? Because we definitely agree he's guilty,
Mm-hmm.
right? No lies detected. Wow. And in terms of these crimes, would you define all of these cases? I've heard a lot of rumbling out there. Some of them say this is a witch hunt. Do you think this has anything to do with witches, or do you think this has more to do with actual crimes being broken?
Actual crime.
See,
Donald Trump wish he was a witch so that he could be like the witch and shake his head and all the crimes go away.
and then he disappears. And that was a good
Exactly.
TV show back then. I used to watch that Bewitched show when I was a kid. And I Dream of Jeannie, but that's another thing. Right. All right. Well, Yvonne, I mean, you bring up very, very valid points to MAGA. And I'm just going to give you some of the things that they'll say to you, though, if you try to, say what you say, and they're going to say, well, can't you see that this is Biden's DOJ, and they're all weaponizing it so that Donald Trump won't be president, right? Because one of the questions they ask is, can you explain all this hate that the United States and the Democrats have for one man? Can you describe the hate? Is it really hate?
Zeus, this is what I feel about that question. Number one, President Biden doesn't have time to think about Trump. Uh, President Biden is living rent free in Trump head.
Mm,
President Biden is too busy taking care of the country.
right.
The only people that really have a big old problem with Donald Trump is President Biden's loyal Democrats, the ones that
Mm,
want to stand beside him up until the end. So the other people, the Trump people, they have the problems because they're the ones that can't sleep at night, just like
Mm,
Donald. Yeah.
You hear that? You hear that? Now we're heading into, obviously Biden's, I think Biden's going to get second term. But could you speak a little bit about these polls that are going around? Because I hear Trump supporters saying they're winning. They showed the polls of like 6 states today or a couple days ago. What do you got to say to MAGA about those polls? Are those polls really a good sign for Donald Trump and his supporters, or what?
Well,
Thank you
Zeus,
for the gift.
I saw the polls and
Mm-hmm.
I did a speech. I did a video, a speech on my page about it
Mm.
because it really, really had me bothered. But you can come on TikTok and the fellow Democrats that we have, they can say things to make you realize that you don't
Right.
have to worry about that.
Mm.
Because people out there that's doing those polls, they're getting paid. They're
Mm.
getting paid big money by the big rich people in order to
Oh.
put those polls out to have the Democrats worried, scared, and
Oh.
shaking. And in
Oh.
order to make Trump feel and look good. Uh-uh.
Oh.
We
So
got
you so you don't buy what those polls results are saying at all.
I do not buy it because I believe there's
Mm.
more people in this country that have a heart, that have love for other people, and that love their children because
Mm.
they feel like if Trump get in the White House again, this country is not going to be the same. And I advise the mega people, you get your food stamps, you get your welfare check, you
Right.
get your social security check, you
Right.
get your Medicare check. Your children get free lunches. Your
Mm-hmm.
children go to school. So you better be trying to think about your pocketbook and your children and your grandchildren.
I agree. I 110% agree with you, Miss Yvonne. I mean, that is incredible, and and that's beautiful coming from the state of Alabama. How does it look out there in terms of where you're at? Are there a lot of Trump supporters out there? I'm just curious because I want to come out there. When I start to do my little tours and whatnot, but I'm a little concerned about that area.
Well, I'm in a small town in Alabama,
Mm.
and as I travel around, I don't see many signs. But
Oh.
I protested with the people that protested about the guys, the people that did the brawl in Montgomery.
Yeah, I
I
remember
was in,
that.
yes, I was in Selma protesting because that's where those people had their stores their
Mm.
store in Selma. There
Mm.
are people out there, but I haven't seen a whole lot of signs yet. But
Mm.
you also know that Alabama, Mississippi, and all of those states, they have always been the most prejudiced place, and they will always be.
Now, stop. I want to stop you there because you just touched on something. I have a friend out here that likes to, speak about things that I would say are very, very racist. And you said something. Those states are very prejudiced. When these Trump supporters get on TikTok and they like to pretend like racism doesn't exist, would you be able to shed some light for them so that they can understand why it still exists and why it's an important thing to, uh, combat this day and age? Because I feel like you are dealing with it from a different level than I am out here in the beautiful state of California, where there definitely are parts, but I'm a little apprehensive in terms of what's going on in the South.
Well, I graduated in 1977, and I grew
Mm.
up in the time when the schools were segregated.
Mm.
They was apart. We had the white, the blacks, and all that.
Mm.
And of course, we made a little progress, and they don't have that right now, but they are still working on it.
Right.
They're still trying to get it back to the times when it was when I grew up. They're
Wow.
fighting it. They're not okay. There's a guy, a mayor that was in one of these cities that unalived himself because they found out and they put out that he dressed in drags.
Mm. I,
All
re-
of those,
I covered this guy. His name was Bubba, I think, yesterday, right?
that's right, Big
And he
Bubba.
was a pastor. And he was a
Yes,
pastor.
yes, he was a pastor. And that's the sad thing about it. They're taking the churches,
Mm.
Christianity, they're taking the Lord, Jesus, all of that, and they're trying to turn that into hatred. But
Wow.
they the people that knows what really is going on, they can see straight through it. You
Mm.
know, we're strong as people. We're strong as our people. But one thing
Amen.
they need to realize that we, African black women, we stopped this country. We stopped Donald Trump the last election, and doggone it, we're going to stop him again. But and the thing is, we're not by ourselves this time. We
Nope.
have our other color sisters that's standing with
Mm.
us because he's
Amen.
trying to. They don't have the right to control their bodies. They're taking books out of the libraries. I think the other color of women is really
Mm.
seeing what the Republicans is all about, and together
Amen.
we stand.
Amen. Amen. Yvonne, listen, Sister Yvonne, you didn't came into the closet of truth and told nothing but the truth. All right? And for
Thank you.
that, I gotta commend you, all right? And I gotta
Thank
move it on to our next guest, but I really, really do appreciate you. And I went ahead and gave you a follow. I do hope you come back a lot more, all right? And bring
thank
that truth,
and I
all
want
right?
you to check out some of my videos on my page.
Okay,
Thank you.
send it to me in the DMs, all right? And you know, I appreciate you coming in from Alabama because that's just one more sign to the MAGA that no matter what part of the country you go, the truth is there. It's getting out, and people are rising up against the demonic MAGA force. All right.
Absolutely. And I have my alarm to wake me up so I can watch you in the morning times. Love you,
Oh, what?
Zeus.
All right. I love you too, and thank you for
thank,
having the courage to get in the box and tell the truth and shame the devil. All right.
thank you. Thank you all.
All right. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mrs. Bond. For those of you who are out there in the comment section, listen, this is the closet of truth. All right, I've asked my moderators to not go hard on you, just because I want other people to really hear the stuff that's going on in these Trump supporters' heads. All right, so you don't got to get in here and start trying to attack Zeus. I mean, you can. It's not going to help you. It's not going to change. People see you for what you folks are. I don't have to go around here on TikTok and tell all these intelligent people on this app how Snuggles is or how any of his minions are. These folks see you all for what you are. You're not agents of light, which means it's the opposite. You're agents of darkness. You're vassals of transgression. All right? And if this was any other time in history, a lot of you would have been taken to task. You know what President Biden was talking about when he said he'd take Trump out in the back if they were in high school? It'd have been a lot worse than that. I'm going to be honest with you. Because treason, I don't care what part of the country or what part of the world, treason is a very, very dangerous crime. Very dangerous. And if I were a Trump supporter in 2023 going into 2024, the last thing I would ever want to do is be linked to any kind of treason, especially when we've already caught you doing it once. Let's bring up our next guest. Oh, I have Thor here and I have Snuggles. All right, all right, all right. Let's get Snuggles out of the way. All right, Snuggles. All right, Snuggles. All right, let's do this. Snuggles. Snuggles. Going once, going twice, going. I guess he's on that Biden
hear me?
Wi-Fi.
Can,
You're on that. You're on that
are you going to
Biden
hang up
Wi-Fi.
on me like you always do? You seem to be hanging up on me, but this is the closet of truth, right?
All right, all right, all right. So I've been waiting for you. This
Yeah.
is an opportunity for people to get to know the real Snuggles. All right. So
Oh.
I'm gonna take my fangs away.
Oh.
All right. And I'm just gonna ask you, where do you stand on some issues? All right.
Yes, yes.
Because some people said that you might be a Democrat, and then some people say you're not. So, one, I would like you to describe to Zeus where you stand politically. Be honest. Be honest.
Okay, I am a Democrat.
Now, Snuggles, I'll drop you from this box if you start
What?
lying.
I'm a concerned Democrat. There's some things that I'm questioning Biden on what he's doing with his family.
I mean, okay, that doesn't describe you politically. That sounds like you got personal issues. I'm talking about politics. All
Yeah.
right.
I'm bothered because this morning I was talking to some people that work at Ford Motor Plant.
Okay.
They're having trouble putting cars together with Biden's CHIP Act. And I'm very disappointed because I had some confidence. I'm telling all my viewers, the CHIPS Act that Biden passed helped American people, but it seems to me that everybody's going on strike and they can't build the cars without
But
his
Snuggles,
chips. Can you
Snuggles,
please explain that to Snuggles?
Snuggles.
I'm a concerned Democrat.
You sound, and again, ladies and gentlemen, I could drop Snuggles, I could, but this is MAGA right here. You can draw your own conclusions.
Oh,
Does he sound like somebody's? Does he sound like somebody that you want to align with politically?
yes.
Does anybody want to align with a
Can
person that thinks
I
like
ask
this?
you a quick question? Is Trump in jail? Yes or no? We just want to know.
Snuggles, has he had his trial yet?
I mean, just is he in jail?
Well, why would a person?
This is like 3 years with Biden in office. Is he in
listen
jail
up.
yet?
I'm going to have to educate MAGA on how folks end up in jail or prison. So, Snuggles, under what situations is a person detained and put into a prison or a jail cell? What has to happen?
Well, an investigation.
Okay, that's a good way to start. And then what?
That's
Explain it to
indictment.
your please explain it to your viewers because the
Okay.
last thing that I want
So
to
I will start it out. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you guys. Okay, keep your finger off the button there. Okay, so Nancy Pelosi, if you guys look this up here on this TikTok app, if you look up wrap up smear, all right, you get the definition. What they do is they create a story and they wrap the story up, right, and then they hand it over to the attorney generals, right? They use that.
So, Snuggles, I had to mute you because you're not being honest in the closet of truth. One more time, and I'm gonna have to.
I wasn't. Hey, I was
I'm
telling
gonna have to. I'm gonna have to ask you. That,
Okay, well, just write it down anyway, everybody. Wrap up smear, Nancy Pelosi. Just write that down.
You see, ladies and gentlemen,
You'll hear it.
He can't answer the question. So ask yourself, you Trump supporters, is that somebody that you want to align with? I gave him a fair shot. Didn't I, Yvonne? Many of you know I usually drop Snuggles within 2 seconds because the man doesn't know the truth. It slapped him in the face. I gave him 5 minutes. It had to have been 5. It felt like 30, to be quite honest, to answer some simple questions about where he stood politically. And like Donald Trump, he failed. What a loser. Snuggles, get up out of here. Now let's move on to our next guest, all right? All right. So Thor, welcome, Thor.
Hello.
All right, Thor. We meet again.
How you doing, Snuggle? I mean, what's your name, Zeus? How you doing?
We meet again, Thor. I'm doing all right. I got to ask you some questions because I know this is your first time in my live, and I got to ask them these kind of questions, all right?
Shoot away, but my friend.
All right. Now, mods, leave him be. I know what he's going to say, but I'm going to go ahead and ask him. Thor, in your opinion, was the 2020 election stolen by President Biden?
Was it stolen? Well, there's a lot of. Is this a yes or no? Is it yes or no?
It pretty much is.
Okay. I won't monologue. I'll just do yes or no. Okay. So I'm gonna say no, in my opinion.
Was it stolen? No. Great answer, Thor. You know what? You get around. I didn't think Thor was gonna ask that one. But there's a first time for everything. Next question. In your opinion, who would you say is responsible for the attack on the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021?
So it's the radical.
Remember you asked me, are these yes or no questions? Oh, you're right.
That wasn't really a yes or no, but you can
go for it. You're right. You're right.
So it was the radical people in that group, and also the FBI kind of helped them and enticed them.
The FBI
or CIA, whatever alphabet there is.
Could you think of anyone else that may have been responsible?
And I just told you the radical part of the Trump movement. There are bad people in every group, right?
Right. Okay, so you see, ladies and gentlemen, I don't got to make. You can form your own conclusion about what Thor is saying. Now, Thor, I'm just going to let you know. I disagree with you. I
I
actually
do.
think. I actually think, or actually, I know Donald Trump is responsible for January 6th. Him, Rudy Giuliani, and a whole host of others. John Eastman. They all helped organize this so-called plan, this fake electors plan in an effort to try to overthrow the government. That's what I believe, and he took advantage of his supporters' loyalty on January 6th. And I do believe you might have had a few people there that tried to hijack it, but for the most part, Donald Trump is fully responsible. By the way, is there a lot of background noise going on with you,
Me? Oh,
Thor?
yeah, I'll turn it off. Sorry.
What the heck is that?
That's my CPAP machine. Sorry.
Okay, okay. I got it. I got it. It's pretty loud, bro.
I turned it
I
off.
don't.
You can't hear anything.
Okay. Okay. Next question. Next question, and it's my last and final question. Do you think President Biden or Hillary Clinton or even Barack Obama, do you think they're guilty of any crimes?
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Which of those three do you think are guilty of crimes?
Which one?
Which of
Oh,
those three?
so okay. So Barack Obama, I don't think is kind of, I think, clean now.
Okay, so you think Obama's clean. Great answer. Okay. So which of the two
Now,
then?
the Pelosi, not but Pelosi, but the Hillary, she's kind of sketchy, and Biden, he's sketchy as well.
Okay, I mean, I don't want to go too much into detail,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
Thor, if you could give us a bone, what crime would you say Biden committed? Go ahead, tell us.
Um, I know I know there's a lot of corruption.
Right, right.
There were some things that Biden has said, and
Mm.
the perception was, and it's perceived as he gained a lot of
Yeah,
money from.
right, right. I mean, but do you got anything like more specific? That way, I could walk away with this conversation and be like,
That was my Pacific. I guess. I can't pronounce the word. Sorry.
your perception,
But no, Pacific or specific. I'm sorry. Can't pronounce the word.
your specific.
SPEC.
Yeah, your specific,
I can't pronounce it. I
specific.
apologize.
Okay, okay, no problem. So you don't really have a specific crime that you can point to
That
that you
is.
can.
He
What?
money laundering,
Oh, money.
taking bribes. That's
Okay,
what I
bribery.
that, yeah.
And so, who was he laundering money for?
Well, his son was
Oh, Hunter,
yeah,
Hunter,
his son
Hunter.
was sort of like the decoy, and he was the
Mm,
big guy, and he was
okay,
getting
and so
money, and it's kind of you have to admit it's very sketchy to say the
no,
least.
I mean, this is all your opinion. I
Yeah,
don't believe that at all.
plus
Actually, I don't. I actually stand on the belief that President Biden hasn't been linked to any kind of crimes whatsoever. There's no docket numbers out there that
yeah,
I'm aware of,
I
right?
agree. But the left will say that, and then but the conservative people
But
will
what do
beg
you
differ.
say? But what do you
I
believe?
align to what the conservatives say.
Right, but you also do you believe in facts and truth, or is it just like I go with whatever my team says, I just do what they say? Is that kind of how you get down?
Oh yeah, of course, facts. But there's a lot of things that the left has
So
used to
so
emotionalize everything.
I mean, but you can think for
Both sides
yourself,
do it,
correct?
though.
But you can think for yourself, Thor.
Of course.
Okay, and so if you ran across some information that you came to a conclusion about, would you have the courage to stand up to your friends and say, "I can't go that far with you" if that came up?
So, is this a yes or no question? I don't remember.
I mean, I just want to know.
So,
Let's
if my
just
friends
say
like say, if my
let,
friends are committing
you know,
crimes, out and I see them doing crimes,
would you
I
stand
can
up to
stand
them?
up.
You
Yeah,
would.
of course.
You would say no. I won't commit those crimes with
I
you.
won't be part of it. No, I won't be part of it.
Okay, okay, okay. And so, with that being said, you this to me says you would stand up to MAGA if it came down to it, and you found out that they were doing something that they shouldn't have done.
Both sides. Yeah, yeah. I'll just answer the question.
I mean, because you seem like you're trying to do the right thing, but I think you just might end up. I think you're one of these people who you're friends with a lot of Trump supporters, and you just don't know how to break it off with them.
Well, you see, my friends aren't the people on the conservatives. They're not really my friends. They're just Americans to me. They're just like
Right,
my friend as well.
right. I can't. So, but you said you would stand up if you knew somebody was going to commit crimes, right?
Yeah, but it's like it has to be proven, and I didn't see anything of.
Well, let's just take January 6th. There's people who have been convicted. Do you think those convictions are real? Do you think that maybe that was just like politically motivated, or do you really think that the judicial system worked and those folks really are guilty?
I I think the judicial system is a great thing, but I
Hmm.
think that the judicial system is flawed. I look at all the things that
I mean, but
happened.
I'm talking about those convictions in particular.
No, I don't believe in those convictions
Oh,
because they're political protesters, and in America you have the right to protest, just like
but you,
the
but
people are
Thor,
doing right now in at the Capitol.
But Thor, you just said if you knew some of your friends were breaking the law, committing crimes, you would stand up to them.
But they're
And
political protesters, right?
huh?
Protest have the right to protest, right?
You and I, we all know protesters have a right to protest
Yeah.
peacefully, right? But why do you think these folks were convicted?
It's all a witch hunt. It's all attacking the conservative, demonizing us and making
Mm.
villainizing it.
Now you
And
know people can hear you say this stuff, Thor.
of course, and I'm
Okay,
not
okay.
afraid to just make these statements.
Well, Thor, so there's been over 400 police officers that were assaulted on January 6th. Are you in favor of attacking law enforcement? If you saw your friends attacking police officers, what would you say to them? You would say that's okay, huh?
If they're protesting, and so I know for a fact that I have a friend who went to the January 6th thing, and he peacefully protested, and he came back and worked, and he said he was proud to be there, just like
Right,
any other protesters.
right.
But
And
I
that,
have
and, and,
to-
and that, but Thor, that kind of goes back to what I was saying to you earlier. I think the situation you're in right now is you don't have enough courage to stand up to your friends that are breaking the law, committing crimes. You said you
Should they
would, but
be
it
in
doesn't seem,
prison for the rest of their life?
huh?
Should they be in prison, or should they be pay a fine just like the BLM and the Antifa people?
Thor. I'm asking you, do you trust that our criminal justice system works? You said you believe it works, but you have some criticisms, right?
Of course,
And
there's
and,
things.
and, and I and I think the majority of Americans we agree on that.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, we still gotta admit that when laws are broken and the criminal justice system goes to work and a person comes back with a conviction, we kind of gotta agree that's how it works,
Yeah, but
right? And so, along those lines, in the case with the January 6th, there were people who actually attacked law enforcement officers that were Trump supporters, right? And they're now in prison. Why is it so difficult for someone such as yourself, and you sound pretty intelligent? Why is it so difficult for you to connect the dots and recognize that that's crime?
so I don't think we should.
No, but I
Prisons
mean, but
are
it's crime.
so it's crime, and they should
Okay.
maybe should have gotten a misdemeanor, but they should never have gotten jail time. That's not. It's if they have to be held accountable, right? You agree with that, right? You
I
agree.
mean, that's how the law. So the thing
No, but
is,
you agree with have to
you
held
and I,
accountable, right?
you're right. But when a person's convicted, then there's sentencing, right? And anybody that's out here in America knows different crimes require different sentencing guidance, right? So whether or not you agree with the sentencing guidance, that's irrelevant at this point. You know what they say? They say, do the crime. What's the next line?
Oh, I love that song. Do the time.
Right. So if a person breaks the law, I mean, how much time do you think someone should get for assaulting a police officer? How much? You think that should just be like a $5 fine?
Was it the first time?
I don't know. I'm just asking you.
So I'll give you.
I mean, no, but how much time if a person, attacks a law enforcement officer, hits them, pepper sprays them, what do you think is good punishment, Thor?
I would say so. If you're asking my opinion, community time of service, knock it down as a misdemeanor, fine them, and then maybe if they want to put them in jail them for 30 days, but not for 3 years or 4 years or 5 years.
So basically, you're saying police officers should not have to worry about. They should be okay with people attacking them, knowing that they're only going to get maybe 30 days in jail. That's how you want cops to go out here.
If it's the first offense, they shouldn't have to be slammed to the door. And
So
I'm sorry, for a fact that minorities that are prosecuted and get uh get these unfair imprisonment, while I would say the non-minorities, they get a break and they get misdemeanor charges, and they get the, what do you call it,
who got
probation.
who? Where are you getting that information from? And
Oh,
you're, I think
I'm getting it
what
from
you're
my experience.
so what exactly is your experience? And say it in a very concise way because it
Okay.
seems like it's all over the place. But I
So
want to make sure before you go and do that, I want to make sure I understand you. You're saying out here in front of all these people that, and you're saying this to law enforcement officials, according to what Thor is saying, you it you should be okay with people attacking you and assaulting you. That's what you're basically saying because all they're going to get is 30-day sentence and a slap on the wrist. If it was Thor's way.
so the law enforcement's job is to cap collect them, put them into the justice system, right?
I mean, I believe it's a lot more to it than
I mean,
that.
they're not judge and jury, are they?
I mean, they do have a lot of discretion and authority to
Um,
make decisions out there, right? So if they see you breaking the law, then they can detain you,
yeah, but yeah,
right? There's enough what they call probable cause,
yeah,
right?
of course.
So,
But
so
the
if
issue
probable
is,
cause kicks in, Thor, and they see, oh my gosh, I'm being assaulted by someone, and the person doing the assaulting, everyone knows assaulting a police officer comes with a serious and a heavy penalty. Everyone knows that, right? You do know that, right?
oh no, I guess so. But the thing is, that I'm not going the fact. I'm going past the fact. The law enforcement is their job is to catch you that you're doing a crime and put you into the justice system. That's after they put you in the justice system. That's all they have. Then
I'm
then
pretty
the
sure that
lawyers and the judges and the prosecutors, then that's their job is to and exact their justice, right?
I'm pretty sure the job description of a law enforcement officer is a lot more than that, Thor. I'm being honest with you. I'm just trying to make sure you understand that if you attack a law enforcement officer, there's severe consequences for doing that. Even if you attack a police dog, that comes with heavy consequences.
Yeah, but you're saying that the law.
No, 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 you
Okay,
do know this, right?
can you explain to me? I don't understand what you're saying, and I'll shut up.
What I'm trying to say to you, Thor, is if you really do believe what you say, which is if my friends are breaking the law and committing crimes, I will not go along with it. If you really do believe that, then you have to see very clearly that the folks on January 6th that they broke the law, they committed some crimes. You have to see that crystal clear.
Okay,
And
so
you need to admit that.
okay, and so if I see someone committing crimes like a January 6th person, and I report him, and he gets arrested, after that he gets arrested, he gets incarcerated, he gets introduced to the justice system. The
Mm.
police officer goes back on the streets and does his job. Then that's all he does. He could go back into the court system and do like as be a witness, but other than that, he doesn't decide what conviction or what time he has to do. That's the justice system. So the justice system is sort of unfair, but we love the justice system because it's best. It's probably the best thing we have right now, right?
I'm listening, but
So,
I'm waiting for you to get to the point
so
where
the
you
thing
actually.
is that I don't think it's fair that, and it's probably the same thing with Antifa. I don't think it's fair for Antifa to be in prison for 20 years for vandalizing or 6 years. They should be put into the system, marked as a whatever, a homegrown terrorist or a bad person, pay their fines, do community service, and go on probation. Now, if they commit it again, then they need to. Then the justice
Right,
system steps up again and does like, hey, you haven't learned, so now we're gonna have to do
right,
something else.
right. So, but what you're not doing is you're not admitting that folks are breaking the law and criminals. I need you to admit that those folks who broke the law and attacked cops on January 6th, I need you to admit they're criminals.
Well,
Why is that?
if they are
Because
invited to the criminal, if they're arrested, invited into the criminal system, they are criminals, right?
which they were.
Yeah, and so, but they don't deserve 20 years of prison time. Just like Antifa doesn't deserve 20 years for
But why? Okay,
protesting.
but okay. So now we're getting
Because
into
then,
what you feel.
if we
What you,
imprison everyone that does protesting, then people are going to be scared of going to protest because they're like, I fear that I'm going to be in prison for 20 years for saying things.
that's kind of how. That's kind of what the law is designed to do, Thor. Right? It's supposed to deter you from breaking the law. All right. That's kind of how this works. Don't
But
you? Don't you want the law to work like that? You don't
that's
want
not
people.
that's
You
not how
don't
the
want.
justice system works. We don't do it by exacting revenge on people. We do it by exacting justice.
But Thor, I would believe you honestly. And this is our first time talking, and I've talked to you quite a bit in Barristers Live.
Yeah.
But but I don't believe you because it took us at least 10 or 20 minutes for you to acknowledge that the January Sixers were criminals. You,
Well, I never
you know.
denied it. I just said the justice system shouldn't imprison people for 20 years
Oh,
because
well,
they were in the justice system, right?
I'm going to push back on that, and I'm
Go
just going to say this. I'm going to say this. There's a difference between, folks actually being arrested and then folks being sentenced, right? And sentencing guidelines are there. That's up to the judges to decide.
hmm
That's legal.
hmm Do you?
So, so,
Mhm.
so, what you should be saying, Thor, to all your friends that you hang out with is, "Hey guys, you know, I don't like it, but the law is the law. If you do the crime, you gotta do the time, no matter how unfair it seems." And I don't understand, Thor, why that's so hard for you. I mean, because I'm pretty sure most criminals that are sitting in jail or in prison, most of them think that they're being punished too harsh.
Yeah, and that's why and I'm speaking on my personal experience.
Mm.
And I did a crime way back
Oh,
when I was a young youth.
oh, what kind of crime, if you don't mind?
Possession of stolen goods.
Stolen goods.
Yeah, so stealing stuff, I guess.
How much? What was the value of what you were stealing when they
It,
when they added it all up? How
it
much
was
was you
it
taking?
was up to a felony.
Up. Oh, it was up. So how much was that? What is the threshold for a felony?
I don't know. I think it's like 15
10,
to $3,000.
$4,000. You said.
Yes,
Okay, and so you took someone's stuff that wasn't yours. You
yes,
broke the law,
yes.
and I'm assuming you felt you were punished way too harsh.
No, I didn't. I took accountability for my own actions, and
Mm,
I went to the justice system.
mm,
It was my first offense.
mm-hmm.
I never had done anything wrong in my entire life. I made a terrible decision in life.
Right.
The
But the law is
prosecutor.
the law. Did it stop you from wanting to steal again after this experience?
Oh, of course.
See, that's how it's supposed
Because
to work.
but hold on.
That's how it's supposed to
But
work,
hold on
Thor.
though.
It's supposed
Hold
to
on,
stop
Zeus.
you.
Hold on, Zeus. I took accountability for my own actions. I was the first offender. the state decided that to lower my felony to a misdemeanor, and they said that it would be removed. So I did the probationary time. I never served a day in jail because I did the probation, I did a restitution, and I did everything that I was asked to. The thing is that I felt the justice system didn't do me a good thing. Had I been a white American, I probably would. Hold on, you got to understand. I was a they perceived me to be looking at brown person in the justice system,
So
and they didn't
they
give me the afforded me the opportunity to to absolutely erase the felony, because once I did the misdemeanor, they said it would be dropped down. But when I went for other jobs, it still looked as it was a felony. So I wasn't given a second chance. I
and
would
you think
get
that
more
was
if I
because of you, and you think that's because of your race?
I'm saying it possibly.
Mm,
So
mm.
every
Do you?
minorities are.
So you didn't. So there's two things to this. One, you didn't answer. Do you think that they were too harsh on the sentencing for your crime?
I think they were not, but
Oh,
they weren't ingenuous on what the prosecution wasn't genuine on on the stipulations of what I did. So they
mm,
said if I had done probation and I'd done restitution, this felony would be dropped down to misdemeanor. It was never
mm.
dropped down. It still looked like I had a felony against my record.
Okay,
So
okay,
you get
okay.
it? You
All
get
right.
it?
Well, listen.
You
I
get it,
mean,
right?
I'm trying. No, 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 no.
Yeah, okay.
Because
I'm
I'm gonna be.
accountable for my actions, and I agree. I was wrong.
So now that brings. So the first thing I wanted to say was, wow, you said they didn't punish you enough.
No,
Wow,
I didn't say
wow.
it. I
I
didn't
just
say
say
it.
wow to that.
I didn't
Next
say that.
question. This is
I,
my last question, and I gotta switch it up and bring up somebody else. All right, Thor. But
but
my
I'm
last
54 years
question.
old now, and I served my country 14 years, and
Okay,
I'm not
but
that person before. So
I know I get that people are rehabilitated.
yeah,
Now my other question, because you took accountability for your actions, you said.
yeah,
Why shouldn't the January 6th folks take accountability for their
they
actions? Look
should.
at what
They
it did.
shouldn't
Look,
be.
no, no, look at it turned your life around, right? It stopped you from wanting to steal. Why shouldn't they have the same opportunity you had?
Yeah, they should, but they're
Because
not given the
so
opportunity. They're not
okay,
given
huh?
probation. They're being
Huh?
stuck. They're being rotting in a jail cell for 20 years or 6 years or 10 years of their life, and they're not given a chance to rehabilitate. It's like sitting a minority and say, hey, we're going to lock you up. I don't care what you can do.
Thor, Thor, you're
The
mixed.
justice system is blind in some way. You
Thor,
have
I
to
gotta tell
agree.
you this. I gotta say this. I want to just have a conversation about what January 6 folks did, and I don't want to know about the BLM and other minorities that. All right, I want to make sure we don't rob them folks of the accountability that they need to take for their conduct by bringing in all these other off the focus kind of things. The folks, the folks who went there on January 6th that attacked the law enforcement officers, that brought a noose because they wanted to hang Mike Pence, right? That sprayed bear spray. They had military tactical gear. Let's keep it on that. No police officer should have to go up against that at the United States Capitol ever. Wouldn't you agree?
Okay. Hey, so I agree that they should get some time. And
No,
get,
no, no. Do you think law enforcement officers should have to be should they be subjected to folks coming to the United States Capitol with military gear and bear spray and stun guns and brass knuckles? Should police officers have to get subjected to that?
no.
Okay, so you understand very clearly why those folks are in prison, then,
Yeah,
right?
but they shouldn't be in prison for 20 years of their life. They should give an opportunity to
But that's not how our
I
criminal
know, but
justice system works.
if we thought that
Jesus
everyone
Christ, Thor.
should I'm sorry. Did I say something?
Thor, no, no, no. I want you to land on the issue and tell people the truth. which
I
is you
just
do
told
the
you.
no. When you do the crime, you do the time, and it's not fair when they hand out that time. It's never fair.
But everyone should
Otherwise,
have.
if it was fair, Thor, we would all be criminals.
Do you think
It,
everyone should have the opportunity to rehabilitate themselves? No. Yes.
I believe in a whole bunch of rehabilitation, but I want to make sure we deter the criminals from committing more crimes too.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I think that
Don't you?
what? Oh, they've already.
Don't you want
If you
people to stop
deter it,
committing crimes?
yeah, you deter it by putting them
Okay,
on
so
probation.
it seems like it did it. So those folks, listen, they got opportunities. I'm pretty sure they can submit all kinds of appeals. All right, I'm pretty sure they could submit all kinds of appeals and hopefully try to get their sentence lightened in whatever way they can. Some people didn't have those heavy sentences. Some people did. That's just how it goes, depending on the crimes you were found guilty of committing.
Well, all
All
I'm
right, Thor.
saying is, yeah. And hey, Zeus, thanks for having me on the live. I
All
appreciate. I
right.
think that what Snuggle said was true, but I'll leave you guys at that. Bye.
Well, one thing I'll say is this: at least you stuck to your script. All right, Snuggles doesn't stick to his script. He's being ridiculous. So thank you, Thor. All right,
Peace, love you, man.
ladies and gentlemen, this is Thor. You're free to believe whatever Thor says, or you're not. But we're gonna get to the bottom of what's going on in the minds of many Americans out here. All right. Let's bring up our next guest. All right. Oh my goodness. All right. Greetings. Who do we got here, ladies and gentlemen? Who do we have here? How do you pronounce your name? All IG.
Alico.
Huh? That's a
You could
long.
say
That's a
Alico.
Alico. Okay. Greetings. How are you doing?
Not bad, not bad.
Uh,
I always
this is
watch
our
you live, and
this is our first
yes,
time doing
first time.
business. We got to ask you the question, sir.
All
All
right.
right. All right. First question. In your opinion, was the 2020 election stolen by President Biden?
No.
Not that hard. Next question. In your opinion, who would you say is responsible for the attack on the Capitol on January 6th?
Well, the previous president and a whole bunch of his cronies.
Good answer. Take that for you. All right. Last and final question. Do you think President Biden or Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama, do you believe they're guilty of any crimes?
I don't have any evidence to that, but if they do, they should. They,
No lies detected.
yeah, if they
This is how
did,
this show
they,
works. Huh?
yeah, they should face justice if they did. But there's no evidence to that, so no.
Okay. Well, listen, I appreciate that, and the reason I ask those questions is because it lets me know kind of who's on what around here. A lot of people are on a lot of nasty things. All right, so
Ah,
thank you for answering those questions. All right, so I'm in the closet of truth. All right, what issues would you like to bring up to those of us out here, especially to the Trump supporters?
well, it's always amazing the pretzel
Mm,
makers that we have because he's saying the reason why I requested because it just blows my mind. Okay, I'm a military veteran, right?
mm-hmm.
And somebody assaulting a police officer should get slap on the wrist and oh you could. This is not how the system works, and this is not how we
Mm,
should look at the system because if we have a certain group of people that are holding a bag of Skittles and a
mm,
Coke and just being in their skin getting shot,
mm.
who is he talking about? You know, they should get a slap on the wrist.
Well, I tried to at least get Thor to be a little more reasonable, but I let him kind of speak on whatever it was because I get it. This is what he believes, and it's very important for people to see that this is the personalities out here.
But this is, you know, um, are they serious or are they just putting on an act for? Because some of his stuff you could see, okay, maybe there, but some common sense stuff. Okay, you have a police officer and you want people to get a slap on, so we could just go around assaulting police officers. That's what you're telling me. I mean,
That's the position Thor wants to take because
but
according to him, the people are rotting in prison because the sentencing was too hard. It took him a while to acknowledge that they were actually criminals.
but that doesn't make any sense because the people that are policed more than any other people are a certain have some melanin
People of color.
complex, right? Right.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I can't. I'm trying to reason and put that stuff into like logical. I'm having a hard time. That's why I'm just having a hard time. I'm trying to
Well,
follow the logic.
you're not the only one having a hard time. MAGA logic makes no sense because it's built 100% on emotion. All right, and that's all you got to keep in mind when you're hearing these folks. You know, making decisions. It's not a logical decision. It's an emotional. You heard him saying it a lot. I feel it's the sentencing is too hard, right? But when we actually unpack and we peel back the layers of that onion, like you and I are talking, law enforcement officials were assaulted, pepper sprayed, right? You seen the video footage of them in the
Yep.
tunnel, and they were being, pushed into that corner and squeezed. The life was being squeezed out of these folks. Some of these officers lost their lives, and
Yep.
you have folks out here saying this, the January 6th folks, it was too hard with the kind of treatment they got.
Wow.
You can't make this stuff up.
Oh man. I mean, jeez. So should it be the same thing for military personnel too? You could assault them, and I mean, I'm just.
I mean, but isn't it funny these folks say they're patriotic? Does that sound patriotic to you? Right?
But that term is. I have a problem with that term too because most of them never serve. They never serve their community. They never
Mm-mm.
serve anybody except themselves, right? And they're
Right.
gonna say they're patriots. Patriot. It's not a freebie. Everybody doesn't get a patriot pin or medal. That's not how it
Mm.
works.
Mm.
You know.
Right. Right.
Um, that's not how it works. That's not
Tell
how
them.
it works. You earn that patriotism.
Thank you.
You got to
Let them know.
earn it, right? And
Yeah.
some of those people that are coming here for a better life are more patriots than the ones that are sitting around here saying all this nasty stuff. And they just don't. One of the things I realized, they don't have compassion and empathy
Mm.
for others. That's one of the
Oh.
basic things they don't have.
Mm. I'm starting to see that because for me, I just don't quite get it. Why? What more harm does a person have to experience from these folks before they realize just how bad a lot of them are? They're very bad actors.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit about me. Like I said, I'm a veteran. I'm from a
Okay, and thank
small.
you for your service, all right?
Hey, thank you for acknowledging that. And I'm from a
Absolutely.
small island. I was not born in America. I'm from a small island called Jamaica, right?
Oh,
I
all right, yes.
I joined right after high school. Did 22 years, 3 months, 9 days, but who's counting? You know, um,
That's a long time. My dad, he did 20, I think 20, 21 actually. So that's a
yeah,
long time.
and that is the thing where I was like, okay, I gotta do something more than for myself, right?
Right.
And I still wouldn't call myself a patriot. I can't even form the words to say that, right?
You have
And
such a high standard for it.
it is because you know what? We have some of those folks that joined just like myself that didn't come back the same, worse than what I came back. Some people didn't come back in one piece. Some people
Wow.
didn't come back breathing, right? So
Right.
the term patriots should be reserved for those who are deserving of that term.
Amen.
You don't
Amen.
wake up and say, "Oh, no." That doesn't work.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Why do you
So
think why do you think they like to call themselves patriots then? Why?
I guess they think their way of thinking is the right way, and it's like the old Confederate. The Red Hats are like
Mm.
the Confederates right now.
Mm.
They
Yeah.
want to claim something that's not
Mm.
theirs,
Mm.
just like they did when they came here. They want to claim something that's not theirs.
Mm. Mm. You see that? So they don't even want to put in the work. They just want the benefits
No,
of it.
they want somebody else to put in the work, and they'll take the credit though.
Wow. 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 Well, I have another question for you. All right. So it seems like you're pretty knowledgeable about things. Donald Trump. I have his daughter behind me. This is Ivanka. She's supposed to be testifying tomorrow, and this is about fraud going on. Do you think that Donald Trump actually committed this fraud that he's allegedly been found liable of committing? Do you think he really did it, or you think this is a witch hunt?
I think so because the evidence, people have been talking about this before he was even charged.
Mm.
People have always said he inflated his assets, but we didn't know. I didn't know it was a criminal, like a crime as serious as what we're knowing it is now, since they have
Mm.
the proof and all that. I
All
mean,
right.
you could get away with a little bit of embellishment and stuff, but if you have 1,000 square foot place, and then you're
Mm.
saying it's 30,000, come on, man.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
then you're gonna borrow at the lowest value to get the highest amount. That's like a well planned scheme.
Mm. Mm.
You know,
So more evidence that Donald Trump just is a criminal, right?
he,
More
he's
evidence.
been he's been criming. It's not the first time. He's always got away with criming, and now the worst thing he did was run for president. That's what he did.
Mm.
Because guess what now?
What's
Eh,
that?
we could turn over all those things and say, you know what? Let's go in with the legal authorities, and let's get after it. Like,
Mm.
now you
Yeah.
folks from New York know who Donald Trump is. Some people from outside of New York know who Donald Trump is, and now most people are seeing it. But some people are seeing it, and they said, "Yeah, let's give him a slap on the wrist, like the
Right.
Mister, like Thor. He wants Donald
Mm.
Trump to get a slap on the wrist. Oh yeah, let's just
Yeah.
let's just take it easy on him. He doesn't know. He's no, yeah,
Well,
no.
this is kind of why MAGA is in the situation that they're in, right? Because they think their support is growing. They think the base is growing. The base is actually shrinking. A lot of people, they don't want to vote for a president that's been convicted, right? And I think Thor gave us a good understanding about how the MAGA logic works, which is I'm okay with punishing President Biden. I'm okay with punishing Hunter. All right, we can punish Hillary. We can
Mhm.
punish Democrats, but when it comes to the MAGA folk, can't you just be a little nicer? Can't you just be a little gentler?
Mhm.
And the American people see that and they go, that is not going to work. That's not sustainable. That's hypocrisy at its finest.
Well said.
You
I,
know?
well said. I'm not gonna try to hog your time up. I know you ain't got the 3 minutes right now, but
Yeah. Go ahead.
like,
I got to give you a follow. All right.
I always listen. Trust me, I'm always in the comments and going in. I'm trying to do the battle in the comments. You know what I'm saying? I
Oh
try not to read
my.
it right now because, but I appreciate you and most of the creators with the same lane, and I want to learn. I'm here to
Yeah.
learn. And if I could give some value, I give some value. But it's never too. You could change your mind. You could see a different position, and not because we may think it's the same way. Maybe I'll just differ from you with a point of view, right? But then
Exactly.
we look at the facts and not our feelings. And I want to say shout out to Superwoman because she is over here. She
Shout
is
out to Superwoman.
yeah,
Yes.
she's in these TikTok streets and she's doing the Lord's work, like you would
The
say, you know.
Yeah, the Lord's work. This is where it gets done, right?
So
Right.
before I go, I wanna say, tell the truth, like your grandma say, and
And what?
shame the devil.
Oh my God.
I
Listen, brother, I thank you so much. And again, thank you for your service to this country. All right. We wouldn't be here
appreciate
without
it.
you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give Brother Photography a round of applause. No
All
lies,
right.
just professional. Jesus Christ, an hour is already flown, ladies and gentlemen. All right. All right, all right, all right. Let's get it going, ladies and gentlemen. All right, all right. Let's see who we have. Oh my goodness, Sister Takesha. I gotta check in with my good friend Takesha. How are you doing?
Hey Zeus,
Hey, how's it going?
it's going Zeus. Zeus, I just had one question.
Let's go.
When have you ever gone to jail and visited someone who had an iPad and a phone?
Oh, I can't think of a time I've ever done such a thing. They do
I'm
that?
trying to figure out how they rotting away in jail and they got iPads and iPhones. I ain't never visited nobody in jail. And they was in there chilling on an iPad and an iPhone. The people I know sneaking phones in and hiding them when the guards walk by. So when are they being, how they riding in jail? They being treated better than any prisoners I know.
I can't dispute it.
And they pled guilty. If I know I'm not guilty, guess what I'm not going to do? Plead guilty.
Yeah. Not even a little bit?
Never. So guess what they are? Guilty.
Oh, I was going to say innocent, but you said guilty.
I get so sick of the people on the other side trying to act like them folks packed their lunch like the little boy did that was following Jesus and walking through the halls while there was a session going on when nobody supposed to be in there. But they packed their little cheese sandwich and had their little carton of milk, and they were toting their lunch boxes through the Capitol as the Capitol of ushers led them through and told them about all the great pictures and all the great offices, and all of a sudden something broke out, but nobody know what it was. Because they were on their field trip having a good time, being those good patriots.
That's
and
what
all they heard was a shatter. And then the mess broke out.
It sounds like a Disney beginning, right?
Stop it. Stop it.
You don't believe it was a peaceful protest?
We gonna make a movie called Lunchtime at Laytime.
Wow. Well, what do you think? Why do you think they keep rushing to the defense of the Donald Trump and these January 6ers then? Because, they all say they're smart, right? So they can't say they don't know what happened.
I told you that little bang that sits in the front of that toupee, it flips out and it waves back and forth like a hypnotic clock. And they're hypnotized by the bang in the front of his head. And so all of them are under subjection to Donald Trump. Like they say, he lives rent-free in our heads. Well, they paying the rent. That's why it's free.
Oh, my God.
So that's why he can live rent-free. But he ain't in our head. He on their beds because he's their pillow cover. He's their sheet. They probably got bedspreads made with Donald Trump's face on it, with a diaper to the side. We're not concerned about leaky cheeks. They the ones obsessed with leaky cheeks, because if they weren't obsessed with leaky cheeks, get what they'll do? Be able to see that leaky cheeks is guilty of the stuff he's been say convicted. That he's been charged with.
He's been charged with.
So
you believe that there's something to this fraud stuff going on in New York too?
Absolutely, leaky cheeks. Then sat up and did that. Ivanka gonna tell it. Cause get what Ivanka said to herself. I'm not leaving my children out here to fend for themselves, to take up for a man who left me out here by myself. They say he was not a good daddy. None of them look like him. I keep telling you.
She don't
listen. No, she doesn't. Trump got one child, and that's Barron. Them other children don't look like him. We know that Eric looks like Fire Marshal Bill. Did you ever watch the show? Did you ever used to watch In Living Color?
Yeah.
And you remember Fire Marshal? Let me think. That's where Eric Trump look. He looked just like Fire Marshal Bill. So he probably Fire Marshal Bill's child.
Woo!
So she's not gonna leave her children out here to fend for themselves because of him. She's gonna throw him under the bus, and the bus will roll on. And I'm gonna be excited.
So do you think his supporters are gonna turn on Ivanka?
They already have. You remember when she admitted that the election was not stolen after Bill Barr told her it wasn't?
Right.
They started turning on her then. They turn over like Melania do him every night in bed when she was there because she don't want to be bothered. They turn on everybody that doesn't support him And everybody's a rhino, even though he's the only rhino because he's never been a Republican. But
Right.
everybody that's really been a real Republican, they're rhinos now because they didn't support Trump.
Which is kind of interesting, right? Because it's almost like they don't know what the definition of a rhino
When
is.
you stupid enough to call Mitch McConnell a rhino, you're stupid. He's the most Republican you'll ever meet in your life. And when you start calling him a rhino, that lets me know that you under that hypnotic. You've
See,
been watching that toupee sway back and forth, and now you lost your mind. Because that man will never be a rhino. He more Republican than any MAGA would ever be.
I mean, I can't push back or dispute any of that because he was there before MAGA was there.
Let me tell you, that man was in Congress before MAGA was born. And he been a Republican, and he always have been, and he gonna be one to the day he die. If Donald Trump come out and say, "I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not an independent, I'm a Trumplicate," and they gonna
Yeah.
be like, "Well, we're Trumplicates," so they not real Republicans either. The
They're
ones
not.
that's following Trump, they just minions and goofballs, assigned to Trump. That's what MAGA is. Minions and goofballs assigned to Trump.
Minions and goofballs assigned to Trump. I wholeheartedly and I emphatically agree with that, Takesha, because they don't seem to get it. They brand themselves as intelligent, but they're really not. They say they're innocent, but they're guilty. It's almost as if they're detached from reality in a way.
And that's the problem. They're not getting it. They got all that stuff backed up in their chest. And so they're going home every night and they're flogging their log off of Trump's speeches. And it's not helping them because it's building right back up.
Wow.
So it's
Wow.
clouding their senses.
Wow. That, I mean, they need to figure out, but the problem is most of these MAGA guys, they have terrible love lives.
Listen. When they put those tattoos of Trump on their body, and
Right there on the back.
their women said, "I'm not sleeping with you with Trump winking at me," it killed their sex life, sis. So now what they got to do is go in the bathroom, and they probably are beating it so bad they got to apologize on the way out the bathroom.
Oh Lord! Hey, what on earth? But this is how they get down. This is how they get down.
That's how they getting down, Zeus.
They
That's
do
why they
anything
have
they can.
calluses on their hands. Yeah. I just had to say it, Zeus.
I mean, that's. It just makes me not even want to shake hands anymore with some.
Yeah,
of these
when
Trump
you hear them
supporters.
say "I'm sorry," they're apologizing for beating it so bad. Yeah. I'm gonna go before I get in trouble.
Okay, well, listen. Have a great rest of your
All right, my sister.
evening. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it up to Sister. Listen, I gotta wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta go to my next appointment. But I want to end it by saying this. I want you Trump supporters to get ready for Ivanka to testify tomorrow. All right? She's going to throw her father under the bus for the United States of America. Well, for herself first, and then for the United States of America. Because this is what it takes. If you ask me, this is going to be what it takes to get rid of that MAGA demon and a lot of you Trump supporters. You're going to have to see Donald Trump's own daughter put the proverbial nail in the coffin and seal Donald Trump's fate. All right? So as Donald Trump continues down this so-called campaign that he's on, this is one heck of a campaign. I've never seen a president I've never seen a president campaigning like Donald Trump. He's in the courtroom every other day, every other week. He's taking his supporters' money and using it to give to his attorneys to pay for his criminal defense. He can't even let it sit in his account long enough to enjoy it. It has to go straight to these lawyers. All right? So when they get out here and they like to say that they're winning, I want to ask you, Trump supporters, how are you winning when Donald Trump's own daughter will be testifying and trying her best not to throw him under the bus tomorrow? Sleep well, MAGA. Sleep well tonight, all right? I hope you dream tonight, all right, about Ivanka going into that Manhattan courtroom with Letitia James and Judge and Goron and telling the judge just how much fraud her father committed. Because I'm going to be back after, and I'm going to ask folks like Thor, folks like Snuggles, I'm going to ask them, do you see the crimes yet? All right? Now let's move on to the punishment. Because enough is enough, MAGA. Enough is enough. The crimes are there. Proof positive, all right? Now y'all take care and y'all have a great rest of your evening, all right?
Whose orbits most handsome in the kingdom?
Chrissy, what destruction? You sound deranged, Chrissy. I gotta get up out of here. Biden's not done. I'll be back same Zeus time, same Zeus channel. Trump's going to jail, and if he doesn't get his soul right, he's going to hell. And his supporters can go with him. I have no problem telling you Trump supporters go to hell. Because I've tried to save you. I really have, and you don't listen. So, listen, you know, the good book says you can't be saved unless you want to save yourself. Right? And a lot of these Trump supporters, they don't want to save themselves, so why should we try to save them? They live, they dwell in darkness. They really do. And by the way, I know we got some Russian trolls. I know you can't hear me, that's kind of how I want it to be, right? I know we got some Russian trolls, alright, in this live. Y'all need to find something else better to do besides trying to bother Zeus. That's why they call me Zeus. EMS. This is how I stare when I'm looking like Zeus. I like to act a fool when I'm moving like Zeus. Don't be playing with my mood when I'm grooving. Yes, please go vote. Tell them, funny girl. In the sky like you look like Zeus. I make my own rules. I'm a god, call me Zeus. I'm hotter than Hades and I'm burning down the roof. You say you wanted facts, well, I'm living proof. I've been waiting for this moment now. Oh, yeah, Snuggles loves to try to talk about Zeus. Anybody that listens to Snuggles is deranged. And that goes for you, Chrissy. Chrissy, you really need to stay out of a Snuggles live. It's not helping you. Yeah, grab your goose. Hey, little mama, let me play with your caboose. I know the ladies love me because I'm sweet like a tooth. Player hating on the gods, boy, you're such a douche. I tried to be patient, but you had to like my views. I'm catching all these snakes like a mongoose. These ladies love me, yeah, I'm the one that they choose. You know I'm so handsome, that's why they call me Zeus. And that goes for you, Doozy. You know I'm handsome. I like to act a fool when I'm moving like Zeus. Don't be playing with my mood when I'm moving like Zeus. Right. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a great rest of your morning, your afternoon. I make my own rules. I'm a god, call me Zeus. Yeah, you know about No. I don't think I know, Chrissy. Chrissy, look, get a sideways check, all right? I'm out here looking real perpendicular on you, all right? Keep it clean now, all right? I know, I'm over here, I'm protruding through the screen at you, Chrissy. I gotta tell you like I tell Janae, and like I tell Stacy. You're gonna have to lay there and burn. That lust, it'll consume you. If you're going to lay there and burn, you got to get that lust out of your heart, Chrissy. Ooh, yeah, Reggie, she got some of that jungle fever. All these MAGA women be coming up in my life trying to get a dose of Zeus, all right? Y'all got to cut it out and come clean. We can't get along. We can't go down the same path together if your minds ain't right, all right, ladies? Now, if you repent and you truly mean it, you just might have an opportunity. All right, I'm out of here.